Okay, so we're back this week for another recipe. You can see here what I got. I got a couple of fillets, got some beef broth, a little bit of flour, some butter, thyme and rosemary up front, a little bit of vegetable oil, salt and pepper, and a shallot. Okay, so the reason why I'm making this, it's kind of like a part one, a part two, I guess. I'm doing a chicken gravy, and two ways: an easy way, and then something a little bit more in depth. Nah, it's not too bad though, don't let it bother you. And then I'm doing also a beef recipe for gravy. All right, so this is why we got our tenderloins out here this morning, and we're just going to get on with this recipe. So I do say to everybody, follow these recipes, because everything that I say in these recipes, they're there for a reason. Okay, because a couple times I've gotten comments, that people followed my recipes, verbatim, and then I would re-comment to them, only to find out that certain things weren't done. So if you're going to do a recipe, just follow along. It's exactly how I say, and your meal should come out just like mine. All right, so the ingredients are ran down. The only thing you don't see, and we're doing the other recipe, we have a cast iron, a 12-inch cast iron skillet there, and we're going to get on with this. Okay, so I'm just going to get some of this stuff out of the way. Let's throw this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to show you what I do with the steak. Okay, so the how to get a good sear and a good crust. I love a good crust, boy, on my my tenderloins. Okay, is you have to dab these. You have to dry them off. If you don't dry them off, and you don't get most of the moisture off them, now you don't have to get every little, you don't have to get every little glistening piece off of them, but I mean, you should definitely take the time and get these dried off a little bit. Okay, so if you've not had a tenderloin, I guess I'm gonna show you how to cook these. So I guess the video is going to be a twofer. Okay, but the main thing about this particular video, it's about the gravy. It's showing people how to make the gravy. So when people comment, as far as, no, I wouldn't have done that to the steak, or I would have done this to the steak, it's not about the steak, it is about the gravy. Okay, first things first. So we're going to grab some salt, and remember that tenderloin fillet doesn't have a lot of fat in it. Actually, it's really doesn't have much at all. Okay, so you might think that this is a lot of salt, and I assure you that it is not. All right, so we're going to salt these up nice. Okay, all sides, because this is the only thing that you're going to get, the only place you're going to get your seasoning from. Okay, so salt them up, be liberal with them, be really be heavy with the salt and the pepper. A lot of times people say, oh, you over salted or you over pepper. Yeah, not really. If you've ever had a fillet that is, under seasoned, you guys will know what I'm talking about, because you want every single bite of this fillet to be just as good as the first bite, right? Nothing like getting into having a nice steak or whatever, and then realizing that, well, that first bite was great, and then all of a sudden you get towards the middle or whatever, and it's like, oh, where'd the flavor go? Well, got to season them up. All right, so we're going to season them real good, just like we did there. I'm going to let these sit for probably about 10 minutes or so. I'm going to dab them with a paper towel, and in the meantime, I'm going to heat up some vegetable oil over in my cast iron skillet. We're going to sear these off, then we're going to prick them with a thermometer. We're going to stick them in the oven. We're going to finish these off in the oven. Okay, 350 for your oven. Might as well preheat that now. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to maybe serve these with a little potatoes, little mashed potatoes. You guys want that recipe, just go back on my channel. Maybe I'll leave a link, you know, in the description of this video so you guys can just click on it. And that's what we're going to do. So step by step, and here we go. All right, so I just wanted to show you why when I salt these, you'll see right through here, see the moisture? You don't want that. So you want to take care of that. So you want to just dab it again. Just make sure that most, because if you don't, you're not going to get a good sear. That's really the whole thing behind this, right? Build a nice crust, and you'll have a wonderful fillet if you do that. Okay, just like that, no big deal. Just nice and easy, nice and simple. All right, let's go drop these in the pan. These are going to be great. Okay, over at our cast iron skillet. Now I'm only going to put just a little bit of oil in there, not much. All right, this pan's 405 degrees, so very, very, very hot. Let's see, yeah, actually it went up in temperature. It's about 430 degrees, so this is a really hot pan, but that's what you need to sear these steaks. All right, oven's preheated already. Oven's preheated to 350. Now, if you guys don't want to do 350, you want to do 400, that's okay. Just remember that when you put the heat up in the oven, it's not going to take as long to cook. Rather as simple as that. A little short time to cook in there. Okay, so we're going to set these just like this, and we're not going to touch these. We're going to let these do their thing. All right, and they will become nice and caramelized on the bottom, nice and brown, nice and crusty, which is exactly what you want. And then we're going to throw these in the oven. Okay, I'm not going to bore you guys with watching these steaks sizzle. But what I will do when I turn them over, and I'll show you exactly what you're going for on the bottom of these, okay? Because it's very important to get a good crust. So we'll be back with you guys in, I don't know, we'll probably do 3 minutes, 4 minutes aside. Now remember, you're not cooking the inside of the steak at this point, right? You're not doing that. You're cooking the inside of the steak in the oven, not on the stovetop. All right, so you can see that this pan is blistering right now. We cooked this for like 3 minutes on a side, okay? And they're doing fantastic, okay? Still very raw on the inside. This isn't even a blue steak at this point, okay? But I just want to show you guys exactly the crust that we're building here. Look at that. That is what you want, okay? So we're going to turn these. Look at that crust. You're going to get that in every single bite too. All right. But here, I have one thing before I let you guys go. So I am gonna prick this or stab it, whatever you want to call it. Okay. A thermometer. Highly recommend them. A lot of people say, well, you're not a cook if you have to use this. You got to poke on it and do the thumb thing. And listen, you can do it any way you want to. I don't down anybody for doing things however they want to do it. But here's the deal. If you want it foolproof and you want a good steak, I would use a thermometer, either a Bluetooth one or you know, something like this that runs to just a little transmitter over here that runs to your phone. Okay, so you can keep an eye on it. So what I do, okay, is I take, I want to make sure you guys will be able to see this. So I try to find the halfway point, which is right about there on the steak. I turn around and I take my finger to the edge of the steak, just like that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to pick up this steak because it's searing really nice, and it'll finish searing in the oven. Okay, so this is halfway through, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to put this directly in the center, and that's it. That's all. I'm poking the thinner steak rather than the thicker steak. Oh boy. Okay. So I just wanted to show you guys how I do that. Okay. So I'm going to take this out for now, but what I'm going to do is we're going to, now that I got a good crust all the way around, we're actually going to sear the edges. Okay, so we have our edges all done as well. Okay, so we have our edges done. We have both sides done. These are perfect. Okay, this is exactly how I would now put these. Look at these. Anybody that's a steak eater, everybody's drooling right now. Okay, so here we go again. I had to take the thermometer out so I could do the edges. So we're just going to kind of hypothetical it, center of the meat, just like that. So we're going to now cook these off too. These are about, what do we got here? 84 degrees, 82, yeah, about 80, 85 degrees. So, yep, 82 degrees. That's where it stopped. All right, so in the oven these go. We're going to cook these to about 130, it's about medium rare. And after that, we're going to pull them out, let them rest, okay? In the oven they go. All right, so our steaks just went off. Hit about 129, 130. We're going to take these out now. Look at those. Oh, boy. Going to be a good lunch today. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to immediately get these out of the pan, okay? Because we don't want these to cook any longer. Okay, so this is what the recipe is all about: how to make the gravy, how to make a good quality gravy. All right, so now you guys see it's kind of what you guys would think. Maybe some of you guys might think that's burnt on the bottom of the pan. Now that's called fond. Okay, F-O-N-D. That is all kinds of flavor. All right, so really simple. We're going to make a roux. I know somebody just panicked. No need to panic. We're going to show you. I'm going to walk you right through this, show you exactly how simple this is. Okay, so it's very easy to make a roux. It's 1-to-1. So if you're doing 3 tablespoons of butter, you're doing 3 tablespoons of flour. Right? Pretty simple? Yeah. All right, so here we go. This just came out of the oven, so that pan's still hot, but I do have my burner on, however, and we're just going to get this around the pan. I am going to stay with you because this is exactly what the recipe is for, right? It's to make the gravy. So we're going to let this melt down a little bit. At the same time now, we're going to put in our shallots. Now, you know, other people might do it a little bit differently. It's okay. There's not only one way of cooking. There's all kinds of different ways. You do it any way you feel like. But this is how I do it. All right. So we're just going to get these shallots. We're going to get them cooked down just a little bit. Get them a little bit translucent. And we're also going to throw in some rosemary, and we're going to throw in some thyme. All right. Now, this is what I mean by, this is like not the quick version. This is the more like if you have a dinner date or something like that. Come over. This is, you want to, I wouldn't say impress, but you know, if you want to, you know, give a little extra, right? This is what you would do. All right. Now the next recipe that I do, which will be in this video, will be following this. You'll see the difference in that you don't have to cook the meat if you don't want to. We're going to just, this is a roux that we're making for this one. So the next recipe is just going to be, we're going to make it with cornstarch. And we're going to make it with some beef stock. All right, salt and pepper, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. All right, so we're getting the flavor now. I'm sure you can love rosemary, right? Who doesn't love rosemary? The smell of that with the thyme coming out, the shallots. All right, so as soon as the onions are translucent, that's what we're going on right now. We're not even going on what the deal is with the rosemary and thyme. That's doing their own thing. All right. So we're going to let that go for just another couple seconds or so. We're going to get our, I'm also using low sodium beef broth. Now you can use beef stock if you want to. No biggie there. It is what it is. Hey, be a great time to, if you like what I'm doing here, you know, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe, give me a subscription. It's free, doesn't cost nothing. Share this with your friends. It's delicious right here. Hit the like button, and you know, do all that stuff. Hit the bell. Hit the notification bell. I post a recipe every single week. All right, so I'm happy. Oh, we would appreciate that too if you did that. So I thank you ahead of time. If anybody wants to see any recipes or anything like that, just throw something in the comment. We'll put it on the list to make. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take the thyme out. We're going to take the rosemary. I don't recommend doing that. I don't have fingerprints left, so that's why I do it. All right, so that's that. All right. Okay. So we put in, remember now we put in three tablespoons of butter. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to take, I'll write all this in the description below as well. 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour would be a great idea right now. Now you're going to see, I know people get paranoid at doing this. Don't get paranoid. Everything's good. Just follow me. We're going to cook down the, you always see people stirring this up, right? The reason why we stir this is because we're just cooking the rawness out of the flour. All right, and don't panic if the caramelized burn spots didn't come off the pan. They're going to come up. All right, so this is as simple as making a roux. This is it. Just keep it rolling. Just get it to like a, you know, like a caramelized color. You see it turning. All right. And then we're going to pour in, some beef broth. All right. So that's simple. And it's all homemade. You don't have to struggle. It's way better than any gravy like, I don't know. I don't want to down anybody's, you know, product, but I don't know. This is easy too, right? All right. So, beef broth. Nice and caramelized here. You see the caramel color. We're going to dump in a little bit of this. It's going to kind of take off on you. So keep stirring it. And this, now you're going to feel on the bottom of the pan, lift up that, what people think is burnt stuff, which is the fond, on the bottom of the pan. Okay? So keep going with it. Keep stirring. Looking good. I know people think that I talk way too much, but if I don't talk enough, then people say, well, you didn't say that. And then if I talk too much, then people, you know, are like, well, you talk too much. It's like, yeah, but I got to show these guys this stuff. All right, so we turn the heat up a little bit. We're on about a medium heat right now. And this is going to be your gravy. So you can control the thickness now. A little something to explain, I guess. You control the thickness by heat, right? So the more heat you put to this, the more the flour is going to react. It's going to thicken up. Okay, that's the whole idea, right? You want a thick or thin gravy, you can do whatever you want. Now, if you feel that it's getting too thick, you can always go the other way with it, right? You can always add more beef broth, beef stock, whatever you have. You can't add flour to it now. So if you need, say you run out of like beef broth or whatever and you don't want to add water, I would recommend you using cornstarch and water. 1 tablespoon cornstarch to 1 tablespoon of water. Okay, pretty simple. So we're going to keep cooking this. And then we're going to taste it for, we're going to taste this now for salt and pepper. And this, guys, boy, I am going to throw a pinch of salt in it. I always salt it at the end because you don't know how regulated that the salt is in the beef broth that you buy, right? Well, let's keep rolling. I'm the only one eating this, so don't complain about my spoon going in there again. Oh boy. Maybe a little pinch of pepper. All right. Now, this is how I like it. All right. You guys like it a little thinner, a little thicker. You know, by all means, right? Do what you gotta do. You like it thicker, just cook it a little bit longer. So rule of thumb is, coats the back of the spoon, which it obviously it does. That's pretty much where you want it. So what I'm gonna do is kill the heat. And for me, I'm gonna just thin it out just a little bit. And then I'm just gonna let this sit in the cast iron skillet. And then we're gonna go over, we're gonna plate this up. All right. All right, guys, that's it. Let's go plate this up and have a tenderloin. Here we go. So we're gonna serve these with some mashed potatoes. And these mashed potatoes are on my channel as well. Just search for, you know, old-fashioned potatoes. These are the old-fashioned recipe that I have right here. Okay. Okay, so let's do that. And then what we're gonna do is oh, I forgot to tell you guys, the juice that came off of the tenderloins after they rested, you pour that right inside your cast iron skillet. Okay. All right. So we're gonna put some gravy down. Just like this. And I love those little pieces of shallots too inside the potatoes. Okay, so that's what we're going to do there. And now we're going to take us a nice fillet. Look at these fillets. These are gorgeous. Okay. And we're going to take that and we're going to push that right down there. And there's not much to plating this one up, guys. This one stands by itself, right? It's a fillet. So I'm going to clean up my mess just like that. And we're just going to take a little tiny sprig of rosemary on top because that's what's in the sauce or in the gravy. All right, if you guys like this, put a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and share this with your friends. This is a winner, hands down. Okay, we're going to cut into this. I'll be back in 1 second. We'll give you guys a little taste test of this. Okay, so it is time for our taste test. All right, let's get rid of the rosemary. Let's cut into this beautiful, beautiful tenderloin. Show you guys what this looks like. A nice medium, cooked to about 129, 130 degrees. Okay, let's get a little piece of that. Let's also get some of that gravy in that mash. Oh boy, I may need a minute. I'm just kidding. All right, this gravy is awesome. I know it was a little bit of a long recipe for the gravy, but I had to cook the tenderloin to get this part of the recipe out. So that's what took so long. Okay, guys. You know the deal. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We do this every week. Thanks for subscribing, all that good stuff. Okay, we'll see you in the next recipe. Okay, so here we go with I guess so-called part 2 of the beef gravy recipe. Okay, this one's the cut down version. It's the it's very easy to make this recipe, and yeah, not as fancy as the first one that you just seen, but it is nonetheless a great beef gravy. So here we go. We have a little bit of vegetable oil, salt and pepper. We have some beef broth here and some cornstarch. We got about a quarter of a cup of diced up onions, a couple tablespoons of butter up here, and a little bit of gravy master. Okay, that's all it's going to take to do this recipe. So, having said that, let's get going. Let's clear this cutting board. Let's get into making some really, really good gravy. Okay, so here we go. Very simple recipe. Just if you follow along, it's going to be great. All right, so we got a little bit of vegetable oil, maybe about 2 tablespoons. This was a preheated pan, also. So, and then we're going to add in a couple tablespoons of butter, and we're gonna get this through the pan, melt this down. So there we go. We're going to turn the heat up to medium. We're going to throw in about a quarter of a cup of diced yellow onion. That's what I use. You can use whatever kind of onion you want is fine. So we're going to cook this until the onions are translucent, starting to become soft. Okay, and then the butter will become like a caramel color. Okay, so that's what I'm going for here. As soon as that happens, I'll bring you guys back with me. We'll start dumping in some beef broth, and we'll season this up, and we'll make it all nice, and we're going to get you guys a good, quick, easy recipe for our beef gravy. Okay, so we got like 5 minutes, invested in this here. You're starting to see now the onions are translucent. They're starting to soften up a little bit. They're releasing some of the flavor, and you can also see some of the butter now is turning a little caramelized color. Okay, that's exactly where we want this. Again, I have this on a medium heat, but not everybody's stove is exactly the same, so just watch the heat so you don't burn nothing. I say the next addition is ready when you start to see the onions get a little bit, a tiny bit brown on the outside edges, and the butter becomes a little bit caramelized color like you see here. Okay, so the only other thing now we're going to do, we're just going to pour in some. We're going to leave the heat exactly where it was. We're going to pour in about 2 cups. There we go, about 2 cups. Now I'm using, just so you guys know, I'm using Swanson's 50% less sodium. I try to do the less sodium stuff, not because of like a dieting purpose or whatever. It's just that I like to control exactly what's in my food. So when I season it, that's just what I like to do. Okay, so we're going to bring this up to a boil. Okay, and so now would be a great time to boost your heat up pretty high, I guess, at this moment. All right, I'm going to let this come up to a boil, then I'm going to bring you guys back. In the meantime, I'm going to get my cornstarch slurry ready. 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to 1 tablespoon of water. I'm doing 3 tablespoons of each. Okay, so I'm going to get over and prep that a little bit, let this come to a boil, and then I'll bring you guys back with me. All right, so we are at a boil, which is exactly where we want to be with this. So you got to hit it with a little bit of high heat. Now you want to, we're also cutting this, we're also kind of distilling this down. Okay, so all the steam that's coming off it is like excess water. The more steam, the more water that you take off of it, the more richer in depth this is going to be. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to, I have 3 tablespoons of water here, and we're going to take our cornstarch, which is off camera, sorry about that, but I don't know, I guess I figured the smart thing to do would be to hold my arm over a boiling pan and scorch the back of my arm. Not so brilliant, I guess. Okay, so 3 tablespoons. All right, now this may bind up on you to begin with. Don't worry about it. It's going to be like putty. Just work it, just little by little, just like this. You don't have to get crazy with it, but use a fork, use a small fork, and just kind of mix it around. It'll break up, you'll feel it, and once it lets go, it'll just turn into from a paste to a liquid, just like that. That's it. Now we have our liquid. Okay, so this is what a slurry is basically. It's just cornstarch and water mixture. Now, okay, so we're going to set this aside for just a second. We're going to stir this up, keep the heat on this. All right, so we reduce this, reduced or distilled. I guess it's the same thing. All right, so this is reacting fantastic. All right, so next step. What we're going to do is we're just going to take the cornstarch mixture and we're going to pour about half of it in, and we're going to keep this moving, because as soon as you pour that in, this is going to start tightening up. And I seen that as soon as I put it in the skillet here, how it just really wanted to take off just then. So that's why you got to keep stirring this, because the cornstarch is going to wind up falling to the bottom of the pan. So if you like walk away or do something in another room really quick, the odds of you coming back and this being not at the bottom of your pan, I think that's going to happen. Is what I'm trying to say. All right, so here we go. I'm going to keep you with me this whole time, because this is the important time. Don't be intimidated making gravy. Gravy's easy. Just follow along. That's why my recipes are like they are, because I give you guys a chance to get all your ingredients out in the beginning like I do, and then you can cook right along. Put me on your tablet, right? Never thought in a million years I'd say that, but all right, anyway, so we're trying to get basically right now to the right consistent. Okay, we'll pour a little bit more in, keep stirring. Okay, we'll set that aside. We're going to let this just do its thing. Now, make sure you keep stirring. Don't stop stirring. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to taste this. Remember I said that I'm using 50% less sodium. Boy, you really could put that in a cup and drink it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to let that, put a little salt, a couple pinches of salt, because I love pepper, a little pepper. Always got to season it up. Now, this is just to your taste. So when you season your food, it's what you like, right? It's not like, you got to season it for me. You got to season it for you. All right. Now this is coming good. And just let this maybe cook down just a little bit more. Oh, another thing I forgot to tell you guys, like when this is done and you don't eat all this with your meal or whatever, and you put this in a Rubbermaid container or whatnot, all you got to do is just add a little bit of water to it and mix it up. You can use something like this, a whisk or a spoon or whatever. It'll gel up on you, because that's just what it does. But no big deal. You can correct that. Okay. So the whole idea of seeing if your food is almost done, if it sticks to the back. So what I'm going to do is we're going to taste this for seasoning. Oh, so good. Okay. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we use a product. It's called Gravy Master, and what it does is it just adds a little bit of depth, a little bit of richness to your food. I usually use it in the beef gravy. Now you only need just a tiny bit. And you've seen how much I just put in. Now watch it turns. It's going to deepen the color, and it's going to add some richness. So I would definitely start out a little bit slow at that, so you don't get, because that can get a little overpowering. Then you can see how it just changed. You can see how it changed the color. All right, so here we go again. Now let's taste it with the Gravy Master in it. That is just, I don't know. Whatever, that's delicious. Okay, so that is it. That's how we do that. I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to show you exactly the consistency of it. See, just like that. This is a great gravy. I hope you guys make it. We're going to kill the heat because we're exactly where we need to be. Now remember, if it's too thick, you just add a little bit more beef broth. And if it's too thin, then you just add a little bit more cornstarch. All right? So that's it, guys. This is how I make beef gravy. This is a recipe you won't be sorry if you make this. So I urge you guys to make this and do your thing. You want a good gravy, here you go. It's right there. All right, so that's it for this recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed the gravy recipes that I did for you. You guys like this recipe, of course. Throw yourself a thumbs up, or throw me a thumbs up. Ring the notification bell. We do something every single week. Share it with your friends, and you know, watch it. And if you guys got any questions or anything like that, feel free to put a comment down below, and I will answer you back. I answer everybody. I spend time on this every day. So, all right, until the next recipe, have a good day, and I will see you in the next one.